So what we're going to do here is we're going to state the domain and range for each of the relations represented by each of the following graphs. So we're going to state the domain and the range. Let's give it a go. So for the first one, what is the domain of this? Remember, your domain are all your x values. So do you see how I have -2 here, and then I have all the way to 2. So these are all my x values right here. So that means I would write it down as x is an element of square bracket -2 to 2 square bracket. Then the next thing that we need to do is we need to find our range. Remember that your range is all your y values. So do you see here how we're starting at -1 and then we're going all the way up to here, which is 2. So that means my range is y is an element of square bracket -1 to 2 close bracket. So just really make sure that you're looking at it and you can identify your domain and range by considering your x and y values. All right, let's move over to this one now. What is my domain going to be? Well, hopefully you can see here that this graph goes on forever, right? If you would extend it out, it's all my x values in both directions, isn't it? Because this thing just keeps on going. So I need some way of just saying, all of the numbers. There's a couple of different ways you can do this. The best way to do it is just to say all real numbers like that. That's how I would recommend you to do it. Another way you could do it is you could just say it's from -infinity to infinity. Both acceptable ways of doing it. I prefer that. And I think this is like the standard way of doing it. So try not to do it like that. Just say all real numbers, but you're not going to be marked down if you do it that way. All right, next we're going to go to the range. Remember, the range is your y values. Well, my lowest y value that I can get out here is -1. So that's where I'm starting from. But then do you see how it just goes on forever? Because this thing just keeps on going up, right? So I'm always going to get a y value out. So I need to say it's to infinity. So starting at -1 to infinity, because there's nothing below this point, but it goes upwards forever. Now we come to the next one here. My domain of this, hopefully you can see, it just goes on forever in both directions. So that means the domain is going to be all real numbers. And then what is my range going to be? Well, my range is, hopefully you can see this, it's -infinity, right? Because it just keeps going down forever. It keeps going down forever. So it's -infinity. And then it stops at 4. And I'm going to put a square bracket there because we're going to include it. So from -infinity to 4. Also, a thing that people often get wrong here is the order of it. So don't say 4 to -infinity. Your lower number always needs to go first. All right, so that is your domain and range. Hopefully you're just feeling a bit more comfortable with this idea.